Hey guys, a beautiful welcome to the Panuka Agribiz Hub. This is your virtual agribusiness, school, very practical, and this is yours truly, one Mr. Panuka, Bruno Mwemba, the managing director of Panuka Farm and Panuka Agribusiness Hub. You may have, seen a course that we recently launched. This is the farming as a business, blueprint. And this is indeed a blueprint that guides you on how to start a farming enterprise, from zero to hero. And we have actually done this course after 10 years of, being on the ground, having been, in the farming circles. And we've done quite a number of different horticulture, products, from sweet peppers. We have done English cucumbers, we've done iceberg lettuce. We also have experience in doing broiler chickens. We were doing broiler chickens at some point. We also went into egg layers. We've done watermelons, and after watermelons we also did strawberries. So quite a lot of experience. And of course, right now we've gravitated quite a lot into fruit farming, banana farming, which you can actually see in the background. And we also have quite a lot on papaya farming, getting into mango, and of course orange farming. So this course has actually been brought from quite a lot of experience, and that's the value proposition of this course on farming as a business, blueprint, how to unlock factors of production for a farming enterprise. You might actually be asking yourself, what is contained in this, course on farming as a business, blueprint? So let me just unpack for you the juice that is actually contained in this course, and you actually realize you needed this before you actually started your farming enterprise. So the first module of this course deals with the issue of land. Now, one of the things that you actually note that in Africa especially, the moment someone hears that you're a farmer, the first question they'll ask you is, how big is your land? And that is usually from the perspective that, productivity is actually derived from the size of land, which is not true. It's about the productive use of whatever size of land that you've got. And we've actually seen people with smaller pieces of land doing amazing things. Sometimes you actually have humongous piece of land, but then we're actually not seeing much that's actually coming out of land. So sometimes, you've got a farm and all you do every year is just to go and slash, grass, check the beacons, greet the neighbors, but you're actually not progressing beyond doing that, just checking the beacons, and all that. It's a very, very difficult, thing to do, to transition from bare land to actually getting productive. But beyond just that land, there's quite a other issues around land location and a few other nuances that actually speak to whether that land is actually going to be used productively as a farming enterprise. And so in module 2 of this course on farming as a business blueprint, we actually cover land in greater detail, and we have quite a number of sub questions that we actually respond to in relation to land, so that you actually unlock it and farm as a business. So once you go through the different modules, you actually note that there's quite a lot of knowledge around how you can actually transform land to a very, very productive setting. Now, beyond land, the next issue is around labor, guys. And one of the things with labor is that regardless of how much money you've got, how clever you think you are, how big the land is, how angelic or beautiful the infrastructure, the equipment you have on the farming enterprise, that still requires people. And this is one of the biggest challenges we actually have with quite a number of farming enterprises, is the failure to have the right people on the enterprise. It's a process. It's one of the biggest downfalls or success factors of a farming enterprise. And unfortunately, this is not the easiest, and I can actually attest to that. So again, out of our own experience, we've actually built this module 3, a part of this course, that really deals with how to get it right on labor on a farming enterprise. And I think we have quite a number of very key, sub modules within that module that really deals quite extensively on the issue of how to get it right on labor for a farming, enterprise. And that's the more reason you actually need to enroll in this course. So the third module that we've got in this course is on capital, and this is related to what is called best infrastructure in a farming enterprise. This is from your water, electricity, the kind of equipment that you actually get, on the farm. To my colleagues that have just retired, and you actually retire with quite a lot of money, this is where we've actually seen spectacular, mistakes, where you actually end up getting humongous kind of assets that actually end up as white elephants on the capital side. And we've actually brought together this course from the money side, but also once you've got that money, what exactly do you need to buy on the farm? So we bring in quite some ethos around making sure that you bring in the right things. Guess you've actually been on farms where you go and see what are actually called white elephants. You've got empty, chicken runs, fish ponds where there's no fish, lots of different other things like a humongous tractor that is actually not productive. So this course, again, in the module on capital, actually tries to bring in quite a lot of insights around how you approach the issue of capital on a farming enterprise in relation to best infrastructure. What exactly do you need? Because remember, with best infrastructure, unfortunately, actually comes quite at a huge cost. And you don't approach this the right way, you actually end up tying quite a lot of money in unproductive assets. So that is the module on capital. Again, once you enroll on the course, you get to see all the different sub modules in relation to capital. So the last module that we have in this course on farming as a business blueprint deals with agripreneurship, which is the equivalent of entrepreneurship in the agribusiness realm. And in this module, we actually deal with some of the most frequently asked questions around agripreneurship. What profession do you need to be? What kind of courses do you need to actually be a good agripreneur? Issues around backward, forward integration, how to develop, revenue model, business model for agribusiness. Quite a very, very lovely, issues that we deal with in that module, and quite a number of questions that we actually get to answer in that module. So this is quite a solid, course that's actually contextualized to, the African, agripreneur. And there's quite a lot of nuances that we can promise you actually never find in the Western, agribusiness courses, given that we are born and bred right here in Africa, quite a lot of exposure in the African context. And so we actually bringing quite a lot of contextualized, learning in terms of agribusiness, given this illustrious, career that we've had. And the beauty is that in our courses, we don't just bring in the goody side of agribusiness. We pour in quite a lot of scars that we've had to also go through, and that actually creates quite some very good balance, because we've actually seen quite a lot of agricultural influencers that speak about just the glorified side of agribusiness. And so we've actually seen quite a lot of people making lots of mistakes that unfortunately knock them out of the agriculture space. So that is exactly what this course is contained. We do obviously talk about the 6 stages of a farming enterprise, and how these 4 factors of production are very, very critical in you moving from one stage to the next across all the 6 stages of a farming enterprise, from just conceptualizing the farming enterprise all the way to full maturity of a farming enterprise. And like we always say, The value proposition is the fact that we are your fellow agripreneurs. We've actually lived this journey. We continue to live this journey. So this is not some theoretical, course that's been plugged out of some university or college. But if you like, we would actually say it's actually been born out of this university of agribusiness in practice. So that's the value proposition. So download the Panuka Agribiz, app, and get to enroll in these, various courses. Like we said, beyond just this course on farming as a business blueprint, we've got other courses. One on, finance and accounting, very critical. Remember, you can't manage what you can't measure, and that course basically makes sure that you can actually measure. It actually walks you through how do you develop a chart of accounts that can collect the right information for your farming enterprise so that it informs correct, decision making. Sometimes we actually get to farm some of these things for a number of years. We are not very sure whether we are actually making money or just a hobby. So the accounting and financial management course enables you to know exactly what you need to farm, and you choose your battles. And then at some point, you also need to raise money. But the key is that you need to raise money the correct way, the correct kind of money. We have great testimonials of how we've raised wrong money in certain instances. And so the course on fundraising strategies and options walks you through quite a very detailed journey on what you need to look out for, what kind of skills do you need. And then beyond that, we have also a course on risk management fundamentals for a farming enterprise. This course has close to about 80 videos that walks you through different kinds of risks, from financial risks, social, environmental risks, plenty, operational risks, and all that. So we really implore you to really get on any of these courses besides this one on farming as a business, blueprint. So guys, this has been yours truly, Bruno Mwemba, AK1 Mr. Panuka, signing out, and hope to see you enrolling in that course. Looking forward to your agribusiness enterprise getting that much needed transformation. Bye-bye.